Someone told me in a YouTube comment I look like Julius Randle, and like on the spot, I almost scheduled the retwist. Like I was like, nah, we not doing that. Like, you can call me a lot of things, but we not doing that. But that's neither here nor there. Welcome back to Nets Republic. A little bit of a later video. I was distracted. I was looking to see if John Morant was gonna pull out a firearm and point it at Jokic. It didn't happen in like the first 2 quarters. So I was like, I might as well make the video. So the Nets went on national TV and did our yearly comeback. If you've been a Nets fan for any stretch of time, you know that every year we will have some type of spirited comeback, normally towards the end of the season, where it'll look like we're getting slapped around and then we come back and it's this magnificent event. Sometimes it's against the Kings, normally it's against the Suns, but this year it was against the Celtics, and how amazing of a yearly comeback it is. And again, if you are a Nets fan, you understand what I'm talking about. We do it every year. This was this year's magical comeback. And couldn't have happened against a sadder sack of bums than the Boston Celtics. I don't really show a lot of anger towards specific teams anymore. I think that's just me maturing as a human being. But just know off camera, there are a list of teams that I despise. And the Celtics have been at the top of that list for a very long time. I don't care if they have Blake Griffin or not. Like, I can't stand them. So the fact that we did that against them, and especially coming from a Brooklyn Nets perspective, from the standpoint of, I don't think we've beat them for like a year now, maybe borderline 2. I think it's been a minute. I think the last time we actually beat them in any type of a game, be it the playoffs or regular season, I think the last time we actually beat them might have been in the playoff series with Harden. I think so. Like, maybe my math is a little bit off there, but this was a great win for fans. I don't really care what the team feels. I don't really care what they're doing. No, I don't care. This was about the fans, and this was about the teams. And that is, wait, what? Stop. Sorry, hold on. This is about the fans, not about the team, like 1000%. And that's what a good bit of the coverage on Nets Republic is going to be. It is for the fans, not so much the team interest and, you know, how it is we can hype them up or whatever, because they clearly don't care about us. But spirited comeback was absolutely wonderful. I watched the whole thing. I was tempted to turn it off, but then they started playing defense, and I was like, okay, here we go. And I was going to get on here and question that. Like, where was it? Oh, God, I'm getting carried away. My bad. Welcome back to Nets Republic. I'm Sever the Bond. Subscribe, like the video, buy merch, all that stuff. Okay, cool. Anyway, I was going to get on here. I was going to question where the defense was, but it appeared about halfway through the second quarter, and I was 1000% here for it. So it was nice to see them bums actually lock in and really get into it. Yeah, no Doja Cat. Now, Mr. Finney Smith or whatever, he decided to hit some threes today, which was absolutely spectacular. That's something we need from that bum, especially how terrible he's been. And thankfully, we had Ryan Ruocco being on the announcing thing or whatever with JJ Redick, who is a lot taller than I thought he was, but that's not here nor there. So he was able to kind of shed some light on just how terrible Finney Smith has been. Even so much that JJ Redick accused Ryan of being a homer, which I thought was weird, because it's like half of the national broadcasts are New York broadcasters, so it's like that's a strange shot, but that's not, you know, that like we saw Richard Jefferson in the next game. Like, all of us are Nets fans, but that's not here nor there. But anyway, it was a great comeback. Everybody played pretty well. I thought Cam Johnson played very well. Mikal Bridges played extremely well. He had a lot of points. It doesn't really matter how much he had. We'll get to it in a second. But a lot of people are proclaiming Mr. Mikal Bridges as him, and they're back to screaming Brooklyn Bridges and all that stuff. You're going to have to do a little bit more than that to get my vote of confidence, but it's nice to see that he came through and has done what we are, I wouldn't say asking of him, we're kind of telling him to be that guy. And I don't really know how fair that is to him, seeing as though he's a glorified role player, but, you know, shout out to him. And this wouldn't be the first time I've taken a shot at a fan favorite. I've been quoted, it was going to put it on a t-shirt, but then we traded the bum. I was going to, have a picture of Kyrie Irving and put, a J.R. Smith with handles on it, but we traded him, so The timing was off. But, yeah, Mikal played pretty well. You know, he shot very efficiently, played a lot like his idol KD. I'm not going to lie, had a lot of cool jumpers and stuff. He does the celebration at the weirdest times. Like, we'll be down 30, and he does the little joint, and it's just like, yeah, save that for when the comeback is complete, but that might have killed his confidence. He played very, very well, and it was great. And again, doing it against the Celtics that were 100% healthy, there was no amount of Russell Crowe whatsoever. And in fact, Mikal went down with an injury and still came back and played. So it's like we were the ones that weren't at full strength, and we have Spencer Dinwiddie as our point guard. So again, we're the ones who aren't at full strength, but that's not here nor there. We were able to beat the Celtics, and the Celtics seemed like they were trying. They seemed like they wanted to win, you know. It's not like we're the Knicks and we beat them and like half of their dudes aren't out there or something like that. No Russell Crowe whatsoever. That was a full-strength Celtic team that we took down. And I'm proud of them. These type of wins are important in building the character and building whatever the team's identity is going to be. Again, it really seems like we're moving in the direction of Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson are the stars of the team, and we're just building around them. I'm not really here for that, but I don't think we have a choice. So it's good that they're playing well because this is what we're going to be subjected to for the next 3 to 4 years until we eventually trade them for an aging star and go through the same process we just went through. But until then, it's nice to see that the individuals that we have perched up as those guys or those dudes are going to come through and do their job. Claxton played okay. I thought his defense was really good, but didn't really get many offensive opportunities because it was kind of the Mikal show, but, you know, is what it is. Day'Ron Sharpe, I don't even think he played. Like, we're going to go up and down the box score in a second, but I don't even think he played, which was fine with me, but it was just interesting seeing that the backup center situation was Finney Smith. And this is kind of the part of the video where I really want to just bring up one of my few concerns. I don't want to talk that much trash because we finally won a game, and you know how it goes here on Sever the Bond. Sorry. On Nets Republic. Wrong channel. You know how it goes here on Nets Republic, hosted by Sever the Bond. I will slander them when they lose, but if they win, a dub is a dub, and I will keep my criticism to a minimum. So I will keep my criticism to a minimum and only have this one general point that I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. I'm really concerned about the rotations. I'm really concerned that Jacques Vaughn is turning into Tom Thibodeau. When Claxton goes to the bench, Finney Smith moves to the center position. And he keeps cutting back folks' minutes. Tonight, we had to have had a rotation of 6. Cam Thomas was basically benched for the second half of the game. We didn't really see Joe Harris out there like that. I think Seth Curry got a couple shots before he was banished over to the bench. I mean, he's playing about 6 people, a lot of minutes. And it's cool to see Royce O'Neal is cracking the rotation and he's a part of that 6. But it's like, bruh, you're going to run these dudes into the ground. And I know your options to come off the bench aren't the sexiest, but it's like, bro, you can't just have 6 people out there and expect we're going to be okay. Let's go up and down the box score and just really look at who got minutes and who didn't. I'm telling you, it was a rotation of about 6, but that's neither here nor there. Let's look at who we have. And I know I'm kind of like grasping at straws here, but I just get concerned when I see things like that because it's like we had a whole team and I felt like we were pretty deep. But now all of a sudden, it's just the 4 people we acquired and then 2 other people. And that's the team. I don't see how that works in terms of longevity, but, you know, we'll just ride this out and see what happens. Box score, let's see how much. Yeah, Mikal Bridges played 42 minutes. Bro, a game is only 48. That's a lot of minutes. Spencer Dinwiddie played 36. Finney Smith played 37. The only reason why Cam Johnson only played 30 and not more is because he was in foul trouble and eventually fouled out the game. But it was like way towards the end when it didn't even matter and the game was decided. So I won't flame him for it, but I'm just a little concerned. If you look outside of the starting lineup, you got Royce. God, Royce O'Neal played 34 minutes. Jesus Christ. Joe Harris got 8. Seth Curry got 13. Cam Thomas got 7. That's it. So let's count how many people actually played, and then let's count who really played, right? So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, but let's count who actually played. You got your starting 5, then Royce O'Neal. And honestly, that's it. That's 6 people. So you're talking about a rotation that's basically Cam Johnson, Finney Smith, Spencer Dinwiddie, Claxton, Bridges, and Royce O'Neal. And I understand that if you look at the roster, it's like, well, Sever, who else do you put out there? But like that's an issue of roster construction. That's an issue of like filling out the team. You know what I mean? That goes back on the shoulders of Sean Marks and them, where it's like, what are we doing? Let's really go up and down this list, and let's just put our GM caps on and see who actually deserves to be here right now. Bridges, whether you like him or not, I mean, if he's rattling off basically 40-point games with 10 rebounds, that's a double-double, he can stay. I don't like him, but he can stay. Claxton, obviously. Spencer Dinwiddie, I don't see his value. I mean, 17 points, 8 assists, 3 rebounds. I mean, like, numbers-wise, that doesn't sound terrible, but Spence is a bum. I'm not a big fan of Spencer Dinwiddie. I don't really see his value, to be quite honest with you. So I'm going to say cut him out. So we got 2 people who I think should stay so far. Bridges, Claxton. I don't really get what Finney Smith does. I get he hit a couple threes tonight, but I don't really see what he does. You can say defense allegedly, but outside of this game, when was the last time he had such a great defensive performance that you just excused everything else? Like, I know recency bias comes in, and it's like, well, Sever, they just played amazing. But it's like 1 game, and 1 out of the last 6. Making our record over the last 6 games 1-6. So it's like you take off the recency goggles and it's like, well, what are they doing? Cam Johnson, again, not particularly a fan of him, but I see how he earns his keep. He might have stretches where he can't hit an open shot to save his life. There was one possession, I think it was like towards the end of the 4th quarter. We're getting offensive rebounds like nobody's business. And they give the ball to Cam Johnson at least 3 times, and he clanked 3 open threes. And it's like, bro, what do you do? But he's got other things he does with the defense and the layups and the mid-range and all that stuff. So I'll ease off a little bit. So Cam Johnson, sure. Seth Curry, I think you got to pick. I think you got to really look at what you have and pick. Either Joe Harris or Seth Curry. I think we make that decision and sever the ties, especially with the kind of money both of them are making, specifically Joe Harris. I think it's time you just make that decision and pick. I don't care which one. I don't have much of a vested interest in either, so I think you just got to pick one. So I'll leave that to y'all's interpretation. Duke Jr., you don't give him a chance. But if he were to not be on the team, I'm not crying over that. Patty Mills, get him out. Royce O'Neal, I say keep him, personally. Day'Ron Sharpe, get him out. We're not even going to go there. That dude, D. Smith, again, I'm not even sure I know who that is. I think that's like that one light-skinned dude on the bench. Get him out. Even though he plays well the few minutes he gets, but get him out. Sumner, was he there tonight? I know he just had a kid. I don't even know if he was there tonight, so I'll leave that alone. Cam Thomas, obviously keep him. Watanabe, you don't even give him a chance. And Watanabe can play center, so it's like It's weirdo stuff. But when you're looking at the team and how it's constructed, you've got a bunch of glaring holes in the equation. One main thing, if you're not going to let Sumner come off the bench and play backup point guard minutes, and you're going to give it to Seth Curry, I think that's one thing you got to address off the rip immediately. And I get Jacques Vaughn is trying to, make a statement of, if you're not going to play defense, if you're not going to hunker down and, be one of those culture dudes, you're not going to get minutes and stuff. This strategy is cute for the regular season, but we're still primed for the playoffs. We could lose every game from here on out, and I think it's mathematically impossible for us to miss the play-in. I think. I might be off on that, but I think it's impossible. The other teams are just that bad. So going into either the play-in or, God help us, a playoff series, I think you want to have a longer rotation than 6, especially when that 6 is Bridges, Johnson, Royce O'Neal, Claxton, Finney-Smith, and Dinwiddie. I think you would want to have more than that. Let's say our first round opponent is the Sixers or something like that. I would like to think you expand that a little more. Now, who it is you put, see, I keep going back and forth with it because it's on one end, this can't possibly work just playing 6 people. But then who are you going to put in? Watanabe? I mean, I'm here for it, but it's Duke Jr., I don't know. See, because then that goes back to Sean Marks. That goes back to Sean Marks. This is the roster we're left with in the wake of the trades. If we only have 6 playable dudes, you didn't do a good job constructing the team. You know what I mean? You didn't do a good job making the returns. If we realistically are playing 6 people, I don't think you did a good job constructing the team. But that's not the end of there. That's not the end of there. It's supposed to be a positive video, and I spent a good bit of it complaining. I apologize. I'm supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to be doing cartwheels. It's just one game out of 5 where we're getting obliterated, and then our hearts pulled out of our chest by Trae Young. It's hard for me to get excited. Is this, on the old school High School Musical pun, the start of something new? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I think our next game is against the Hornets. If we can beat the Celtics, we should beat the Hornets with no LaMelo. There is no excuse. We should beat the Hornets. I mean, there is no excuse for that. We should definitely beat the Hornets. So let's see if they're able to carry the momentum. I feel like they should. This shouldn't be that difficult of a win, but let's just see what happens. I will reserve my judgment. Let's pick a game, because I've still personally given up on the season as a whole. But let's pick the app just shut down. Okay, let's pick a specific game where it's if they win that one, then it's okay, I'll start having confidence in them again. Let's go. Okay, the Hornets, that's an easy dub. The Rockets, that should be an easy dub. Milwaukee, that's not really fair. How about the T-Wolves? We'll ignore the Bucks, right? And let's say the T-Wolves. That's Friday coming up. If we can beat the Timberwolves, I'm back. You know what I mean? I'm back. They figured it out. Let's see how far it is we can get in the playoffs. But if they can't handle that, and especially if we lose to the Rockets or something like that, then come on, it's back to doom and gloom. I just don't want everyone to get all hyped up for just one game. I don't want people jumping out the window because we won one game. And if you were really watching, it felt like we were getting away with something. Because it's not like it was such a like stupendous statement game to where it's like, oh, the league is on notice. Brooklyn's back. It just felt like they played really, really well and didn't ease up. Because even towards the end, the possessions were sloppy for the Nets. I mean, it just felt like we survived. But hey, stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Let me know your thoughts on the game down below. Seven the Bond. You're watching Nets Republic. I will see y'all Sunday night.